Okay, the topic of the week here at Pissy Fits is Dancing on My Grave, an autobiography written by Gelsey Kirkland, former dancer of the New York City Ballet, former principal of American Ballet Theater during the 1980s. Book came out in 1986. I was first introduced to Dancing on My Grave in 2000, so about 9 years ago, when my mother sent me a copy of the book. She said, hey, I thought you should read this because Gelsey Kirkland reminds me an awful lot of you. So, of course, I had to write her back saying, well, that's great, Mom, but gotta just hate to let you down here, but I never fucked Mikhail Baryshnikov, but hey, thanks for thinking I did. I appreciate the sentiment. Dancing on My Grave, of course, Gelsey was with NYCB for several years. She came up through their official school, the School of American Ballet. Her book is not the first autobiography I've read that was written by a New York City ballet dancer. The first was Suzanne Farrell's Holding On to the Air. Farrell, of course, was George Balanchine's quote-unquote elusive muse, one of his top ballerinas, 60s through the 80s. And it's interesting, they both have different takes on working with George Balanchine. Suzanne Farrell says, to paraphrase, he was such a brilliant artist, the most brilliant creator ever. He was great, his work was excellent, he really inspired me, he motivated me, got me going, made me who I am. Gelsey Kirkland's take on George Balanchine is more along the lines of, George Balanchine pissed on my cornflakes. So as you can see, there's some different opinions there, which I think is, pretty interesting to see all sides of the coin. The biggest thing that sets Kirkland's autobiography apart from her other books is, I think, her choice of lifestyle. If you read Holding On to the Air, for instance, basically all she talks about is dance, dance, dance. You read Martha Graham's autobiography, dance and acting like a total cunt. Paul Taylor's autobiography, dance, and also, just being poor and broke and awesome at the same time as he kicks total ass. But you don't really see a whole lot of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing going on. I mean, the closest you get was Suzanne Farrell's flaw of refusing to fuck your boss, which was her downfall for a while, actually, why she had to go dance with Dejar. But anyway, main thing, you mentioned Gelsey Kirkland to any dancer, even non-dancers, actually. She's that infamous. You said, Gelsey Kirkland. Oh, she was that anorexic one in the 80s. Oh my god, she did so many drugs. Oh my god, do you know how much coke she did? She did so much cocaine. Like, read her book. Seriously, all she does is talk about she was anorexic, and she did so much cocaine. Oh my god. Okay, well, I hate to break it to you folks, but Gelsey Kirkland was a performing artist who lived in New York City during the 1980s. Want to know who else did coke in New York City in the 80s? Everybody! I mean everybody. Well, not me, but, I'm always kind of the oddball. Actually, to be honest, I don't remember most of the 80s, but that's because I was a toddler, not because I was high off my ass. So I think I have an excuse there to be the exception. But anyway, dude, if you lived in New York in the 80s, and especially if you were in show business, you were doing a pile of coke so goddamn big it had a ski lift on it every night of the week, okay? Let's cut the woman some goddamn slack. I guess, commentary aside, I should give you my quick capsule review of the book. Here's the Cliff Notes 5-second synopsis. It goes something like this. I was an outcast, I was miserable, I got really successful, I was still an outcast, I was still miserable, I didn't eat, I did a whole bunch of drugs, I fucked a bunch of different guys, I had a bunch of weird, dysfunctional boyfriends, I did more drugs, I still didn't eat, I got fired, I got rehired, I did more drugs. Meet a poet, quit, get sober, and have a happily ever after ending together. Yeah, basically that was like the light point of the autobiography. So yeah, it was kind of fucking depressing, but you know what? She was one of the greatest dancers of her time, so I'll cut her some slack. Hey, you gotta do that sometimes.